Hello everyone and welcome to Science and the Soul. I am one of your hosts, Dear James, and I am joined by your fellow amazing host, the Lady Jaclyn. And we are here. Science and the Soul is about bridging practicality and spirituality. And in today's episode, signs, symbols, synchronicity, numbers, numerology, how they impact your life, how to deal with them, incorporate them, and so forth, and really open up to the wisdom of the universe, your guides, your angels, and your loved ones. Oh, Lady Jaclyn, I love your word. This is a juicy one.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3. I had to count in my head. I was like, which episode are we on? We're on episode 3.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. This is definitely going to be a spectacular show, as always, because I think a lot of us really want to know, how do we interpret what we see, and if we are seeing things clearly, like, is there actually such a thing as synchronicity? What do the angel numbers mean? How do numbers correlate with meanings, with representations within our life? So I'm super, super excited for today's conversation.
Isn't it? And again, there's that whole thing about, well, is it just synchronicity? Is it a coincidence? Is it just nothing? And, when you really truly open up to the signs, the symbols, the synchronicity, the numbers, it's magic. It is really, truly magic. And I got to this place, Jaclyn, I don't know about you, but I got to this place where it was literally, you can't make it up. And it's either coincidence or it's something just really profoundly beautiful. And there's some things I'm going to share later that have to do with our loved ones and how they communicate with us. And for me, it was life-saving, and I'll explain that and why. So thank you all for joining us. As you know, we only know that you're here if you put something in the comments, as Haley just did. Hello, Dear James and the Lady Jaclyn. Brightens my day seeing your smiley faces. Oh, thank you. And ditto, 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 ditto. We absolutely love being here with all of you. And so please, as you're joining us, put into the comments that you're here, and we will continue on with the show. And if there is something about the topics, if you have a question about that or something that you want us to incorporate into the show while we're doing that, we certainly will. So Jaclyn.
I want to dive straight in because there's so much. I want to say juiciness. Like, I literally want to go, okay, cool, let's go.
I love your word. I don't know why. I know your word is just like, see, it's contagious. I'm like, oh, it's juicy, and I give credit, right? That's a Jaclyn. Right? That's a Jaclyn. It's not a Dear James.
It's such a descriptive word. So it's like, when you use it, people just know, okay, so I know what to expect, right? So when we think about synchronicity, I actually was thinking of starting with numerology, and then you started with synchronicity, and I was like, okay, let's dive in, because I have a story. So I actually have a couple of stories. But the first one is, we decided on the topic, what was it? Either the beginning of the beginning of this week, or it was the end of last week, right? And I got the intuitive, like hunch. I then voice noted you, and I said, listen, are you keen? Like, let's do this topic. And you were like, yes, let's do it.
1000%.
And this week, I actually was listening to a podcast, Spiritually Hungry podcast. I don't know if you guys listen to them, but they're absolutely incredible. And they were talking about synchronicity. And I was thinking, okay, so was this a coincidence, or was this kind of like universally guided? Because I mean, I in that moment, I had completely forgotten that was our theme for this week's show. And I was listening, and then only when I actually came back today to do a little bit of prep work did I realize, actually, hold on. I literally listened to a podcast where I learned something new, and I did some research, and it is actually true that the word synchronicity was actually coined by the father of psychology himself, Carl Jung, Dr. Carl Jung. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, literally the father of psychology, science, coined the term synchronicity. I was completely captivated. I was like, there is no way. How is this possible? I mean, literally, I study psychology, and every time I asked a question that was non-science, they were like, no, sorry, you're in the wrong class, not answering. And yeah, we have the father of science literally going, synchronicity.
Did you go mic drop? Punk, done.
Yeah, I literally was like, oh my God.
You had your own mic drop.
I had this moment of no ways. Like, I could not believe it. I was like, there is no ways.
Would that be a sign?
Yeah, or a coincidence.
Or a coincidence? See, this is what we're talking about, everyone. That is prime. That's exactly it. See, you can write that off as, oh, whatever. And yeah, it just randomly happened. Or it's the unseen, that part of us it's so interconnected, and they're like, oh yeah, this is the topic you guys chosen. Oh yeah, you go and watch this, and oh yeah, it's Carl Jung doing mic drop. Okay, thanks, universe.
It gets better though, James. So then, as I'm researching today, listen to this quickly. So he basically describes synchronicity as an uncanny coincidences that seem to be meaningful, right? And then he started diving into this idea of, these uncanny, these coincidental events, but that have seeming internal meanings in each person's life, right? And he started to dive deeper into, wait for it, this is like another mic drop moment. He started to dive deeper into the work of the I Ching. I mean, come on.
Right? Which I am constantly using in Wednesday's show. Right? Because it's so brilliant and thousands of years old, Jaclyn. Thousands. Exactly. Ancient Chinese divination, the I Ching, thousands of years old. Carry on. I'm continue to amaze me, Jaclyn.
So then he dives into the work of the I Ching, and then he kind of says, okay, well, the I Ching is basically says, or the works of the I Ching says that there is a direct relationship with our internal world and our external world. I mean, we already know this. And he kind of goes on this journey, and he explains different stories of patients, and he kind of, the fact that he's scientist, he's literally the father. He's not, look, we were taught he's the father of psychology, science as they come. He was the person who coined the terminology synchronicity. It blows my mind. It honestly, it blows my mind.
And what a beautiful example of exactly what this episode is about. Signs, symbols, synchronicity, science, the soul. This is what we hear this all the time, right, Jaclyn? That we're all one, we're all connected. And this is the point of this episode, is to demonstrate exactly what you just so joyously and mic drop. This is the magic, the awe, the wonder, the science of the spirituality of us all, of the universe, of the whole, and how the unseen speaks to us, communicates with us, and the only thing that's required of us, are you open to see it? Are you open to receive it? Are you open to be in the reciprocity of it? Or are you closed down, shut off, and saying, no, it's just fuddy-duddy,
And asking the question, because that's kind of what he ended on. The conclusion was that he said it's less about trying to figure out if there is such a thing as coincidence or synchronicity, if it's just a coincidence or if it's more than, or where does it come from? And the right questions that we should actually be asking is, what are the messages in those synchronized moments? What are you trying to get from it? So that's exactly what you're saying. It's reframing the idea of trying to figure out, is this true? Is this not? Is it weird? Is it kind of going, okay, it's weird and wonderful, but what is the message here? What am I trying to get? What is the universe trying to show me in this moment?
Right. Or even in that kind of scientific manner, if it consistently keeps happening, they always say, the proof is in the pudding, the truth speaks for itself. We have these sayings. Well, in that way, signs, symbols, synchronicities, they speak for themselves. It doesn't matter. You don't have to prove that it comes from somewhere. Simply as you're saying, as he stated, open yourself to receive what's in that pearl, that gift, that moment for you. If you'll move, when you move beyond the proving part and you just receive, open to receive, you get the gift, you get the pearl, you get the magic, you get the, and especially with our loved ones, which we'll move into later, you get that gift and it's priceless.
It's interesting because I mean, okay, so I'm gonna ask the question, and I'm gonna pose it to you guys listening as well and watching. Angel numbers, right? Like those double-digit numbers that are now referred to as angel numbers,
and triple-digit numbers.
And triple-digit numbers,
Yes.
But it's like 11, 11, 12, 12, or like the 2, 2, 2, or the 3, 3, 3. Like numbers. Like, how often are you guys, or are you actually noticing those repetitive numbers come up, the pattern within numbers? What keeps happening for you? I mean, I have days where literally on the hour I get the double numbers. I get like it will start like say from 10, so it'll 10 past 10, and then it'll be like 11 minutes past 11, and then it'll be like 12 minutes past 12, and it will literally go on the hour for a specific day. And a part of me, and this is where it's interesting because we're having a human experience and we're bridging the gap, right? A part of me wants to go, okay, I know scientifically we have what is known as an RAS, a reticular activating system, which is in our brain that gets us to notice certain things where we're putting our energy. And that's kind of where that idea of where you're focusing your attention, that's kind of where the energy goes. And then life is going to show you more of that. It's a practical example of like, if you think of red cars, and then all of a sudden you just see red cars and you're like, whoa, there's so many red cars on the road. But it's because your brain has only recognized them now. It's not because there's just all of a sudden been an influx of red cars. So my mind wants to go straight away into, hang on, is this my